Imagine you're alone at an altitude of almost 5 kilometers. The wind is blowing, you are cold, and not enough air to take a breath. Around you is a desert of stone, no trees or shrubs, and occasionally, if you are lucky, there is a rare sprinkle of grass. I think you have a rough idea of the place we are going to talk about. Ask me why you are here. To see something that in a few seconds will plunge your mind into a deep contemplation of our reality. And so we begin to move slowly in the hope of finding civilization. And what we see is that out of nowhere something begins to form. An awareness of familiar outlines comes. It's a rod. So, just a second. Let's back up a little bit. Where does it come from? It can't be. Can it? Rods usually lead somewhere and come from somewhere. But that's not the case here. Strangely enough, what we go on and see, that's another rod. There are definitely the tracks of a car, and here they lead us to our road. And indeed, we can see that very rare for these places cars really go on our road, but then, for some reason, turn from it. But why? Let me show you. Because this road is very old, and in some places already broken by the forces of nature. And the nature here is very, very specific and unique. This is Tibet, also called the roof of the world. The main features of the Tibetan climate are thin air, low atmospheric pressure, less oxygen in the atmosphere, low dustiness and humidity. The air is very clean and rarefied, and the atmosphere is highly permeable to radiation and sunlight. And let me tell you more about the vicissitudes of this climate, because there are no such features anywhere else on our planet. First, the plateau is about 5,000 meters high, while on the plain the average oxygen content is 20 and 50 grams. In the highlands of Tibet, it's only 150 grams. That is 60% of that the plain. This is a very rarefied air. This is why every hotel has oxygen masks and cylinders. In addition to the rarefied air, there is also a very low atmospheric pressure. Very often, adult and completely healthy people, after staying there for some time, died at one point. For example, from pulmonary or brain edema. It's incredibly difficult to walk under such conditions, and it's unlikely that we will ever know how many people lost their lives during the construction of the world's highest railroad in Tibet. Second, Tibet is an area unequaled in the world in terms of the intensity of solar radiation. The intensity of ultraviolet radiation compared to the intensity in the plain is twice as intense. You can get sunburn there, even if it's freezing outside. This is why the indigenous people of Tibet are very tan and almost always wear hats. Moreover, even they get sunburns on the exposed areas of their skin. But there is a silver lining in Tibet. Many pathogenic bacteria are almost absent. Tibetans have almost no skin diseases and infection from injuries. Third, there is a high amplitude of average daily temperatures. In August, the daytime temperature reaches 10 degrees Celsius, and at the night it drops even lower, so that overnight the rivers and lakes are covered with a crust of ice, and in the daytime they thaw again. In June, At noon, the maximum temperature is up to 30 degrees Celsius, and you can feel a real summer heat outside. But in the evening, the temperature drops so low that one gets a feeling of autumn chill, and at midnight, the temperature can drop to 0 degrees. The next morning, as the sun rises, it's warm as spring again. In northern Tibet, the average annual temperature is around 0 degrees Celsius, distinguishing only two seasons, cold and very cold. For the inhabitants of these areas, there is no concept of the four seasons. So, dear friends, how do you like these conditions? Anyway, back to our mysterious road. Now you understand that there are practically no roads built here. It's not only expensive, but also dangerous for the life of the builders. It's simply impractical when there are highland plains all around. That is why we see the traces of cars on the roads. There are simply no roads here. And here we see that the road runs through dried up riverbeds. That is, not only did the rivers flow there, but it's also had time to dry up, and cars, of course, bypass these ravines. But where it's not possible to do this, cars are forced to pass. And now let's compare the size of the road and the size necessary for the passage of cars. So, the road is about 10 meters, and the width of the track from the cars is about 2 meters. Is that we have a 4-lane autobahn? Or am I wrong? Let us compare the roads in a developed region of Europe, for example on Côte d'Azur, on the peninsula of Antibes. Not even 5 meters. Does that mean that someone built an autobahn in Tibet? Only that someone forgot that there are almost no cars here. Don't you find it strange, dear friends? Well, let's keep chasing down the highway only for such a great road. So, racing, stepped on and stop. That is it. The end. Why did the road go into the water? And that is just the beginning, dear friends. And on the other shore, the sea, its continuation. But maybe the lake is drying up? Or are they driving on the ice here? And let's look at the historical photo. Maybe it will give us the answer to what is happening here. It got so cold. It was like being on Jupiter's ice satellite Europa. Ice in place, water in place, and no trace. Unfortunately, there are only 2 good quality pictures here, but okay, let's make it warmer. It's too cold. Let's measure the distance between the banks. 460 meters. Let's move on. Again, maybe that is it. The end? Not again, dear friends. Only now everything is much more serious. Let's measure the water obstruction. 2.5 kilometers. But the road continues. Further more interesting. And here's where the road wins. Why? In order to bypass the ruins of ancient buildings. I don't know for sure how old they are, but nevertheless, let's go further. Note that the road is always a constant width. That is, it's not just some ancient vehicles left, then it would be just footprints, namely paved with an ancient grader. And the road is quite strong, was not what we do nowadays. Look how this rod was loved by the riverbed of the dried up river. The rod was a riverbed for a while and still wasn't completely washed out, as you can see that the water was flowing right where the rod was. Again the same situation. And the road was not stupidly paved. Look at how these beautiful patches of water erosion that look like the tentacles of a giant squid are going around it. It's an interesting picture, isn't it? So stop. Don't you see anything strange under the water? That is right. This is our rod going under the water again. Only now it's an enormous lake. Where does it come out? Or does it end there at the bottom? Or maybe there is also a sunken city like in the Aral Sea. Look at this very interesting video. There on the dried bottom of the Aral Sea I found a sunken city, and even more interesting. My dear friends, viewers, and of course subscribers, I love you too much to leave you without continuation. I spent several days exploring every inch of this lake and found the continuation of this road. And the best reward for me would be, of course, subscribing to my channel with a bell, liking the video, and of course I believe that this information should be known by as many people as possible. After all, sooner or later, the day will come so we can finally find out the truth together. Let's bring it closer, and I will please you with new things which hardly anybody else will tell and show you. Let's return to our mysterious road. Are you ready? Here is its continuation on the other side in almost 20 kilometers. Can you hear it? 20 kilometers underwater. Let's check again to see if anyone is driving on the ice here. And don't think I'm crazy. Such seasonal roads exist. What you see now are the roads on Lake Baikal, the largest freshwater lake in the world. I have to check everything from all sides to make sure the information is reliable. That is why I'm so responsible about it. Okay, we have found out that not many people use this road, that it's quite wide, and no one drives on the ice. What other surprises can we expect from it? Let's take a look at it 12 kilometers from here. And you look at the laser precision. I just drew a line on the computer and it lay on top of it. It's like it was made with laser technology. Let me just type up some highway now, and let's see how accurate it is. Can you see it now? That is just staggeringly accurate. You may say, well, there are no roads in Tibet. Of course they are, my dear friends, but they have nothing to do with our road of the gods. let's turn on the sign of the road. There is a federal road right next door. Let's see what it is. It's marked here. The signs moved a little bit, but all in all, it's clear. Like a kid in a sandbox, fiddling with the cars that are leaving these tracks. It's not precise, just footprints. And it's a federal road, mind you. And now the shores of this lake, it's getting shallower. So this road was an even deeper flooding, so it wasn't recently flooded, and on the contrary, a long time ago. So long ago that we can even see how the lake is shallowing and it's opening up more and more secrets to us. And by the way, let's check if our road is an official road. No, dear friends, there is no road marking on it. Is this done on purpose? No, I don't think it was done on purpose. Tibet in general has many oddities. To begin with, Tibet was an independent country until 1951, but afterwards, China forcibly forced the Tibetan government to sign an agreement to become part of China. Subsequently, there were many uprisings, the strongest in 1959, after which the Tibetan government was forced to flee to India, where it's still there today. Can you imagine that? And it's now officially called the Tibetan government in exile. And it's still in India. This is just a unique situation for the whole world. The next big thing in Tibet was the Chinese Great Proletarian Cultural Revolution. Of more than 7,000 religious structures that existed before the China's rule in Tibet, only a fraction had survived by the end of the Cultural Revolution. The Red Guards went to great lengths to destroy the history of the region. There were uprisings in 1987, 1989, just before the 2008 Olympics in Beijing. So, there you have it, dear friends. The Tibetan government in India, the Red Guards destroying a cultural monument, constant uprisings on this ground. And here we have a perfectly flat highway that goes underwater for 20 kilometers. This is another factor in favor of the fact that neither Tibet itself, which until recently drove only yaks, nor China, which all the time had to suppress uprisings, has anything to do with this high-tech object in all plans. I think I've said enough to begin to draw the right conclusions with regard to the fact that this road was built a very long time ago by an ancient high-tech civilization. So, here we go. First, this road starts out of nowhere. There are no structures or buildings for which it could have been designed. Second, you can see that it's a rod of constant width, and it was made with help of technological machines, not by hand. Thirdly, this rod remains ultra straight for very long sections, which cannot be achieved without the use of high technology. Fourth, the width of this corresponds to the 4 rows of our modern roads. This is necessary when there is a huge flow of cars, which is not observed in Tibet, or for the movement of larger vehicles of antiquity unknown to us. Fifth, this road is unique to Tibet. It has no analogues and has nothing in common with other roads in Tibet. Moreover, it's in many ways more superior to federal roads while not being officially a road. Sixth, this road is not marked on maps as a road. That is, it's not considered a road, although its part, undisturbed by nature, is still used for driving. Seventh, most of this road is under the water of a large area, which confirms that this road is ancient. Eighth, the shoreline of the lake confirms that the water level used to be even higher, which makes this road even more ancient. Ninth, the financial costs of building such roads in Tibet are very high, and the lack of need for a road of such quality, everyone drives well on dirt roads anyway, makes it clear that it was built a very long time ago. 10th, the political instability of this region clearly does not allow for the improvement of its transport infrastructure, which is circumstantial evidence that Tibet and China were not involved in the construction of this road. Now, let us draw the most important conclusion from what I have presented, and it's undoubtedly unequivocal. This high-tech road was built a long time ago by ancient civilizations for their own needs, and the highest quality of this road is confirmed even by the use of its sections to this day for its direct purpose after many thousands of years. Dear friends, thank you for watching my video. Although, why is it mine? It's now ours and is in the public domain. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so that I can delight you with the new investigations, and be sure to share this video, and maybe you will be the one who opens humanity's eyes for the truth.